Hi there! Welcome to episode 19 of Annijuuti Knits podcast. My name is Anniina and I come to you from Finland, where I live with my husband and my two little boys. And this is where I talk about my knitting, about my designing, and all things yarny. So let's get started. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all of the lovely comments that you always give me. It's very heartwarming to read all of the lovely comments, and I am very happy to get to know you a little bit more. And if you are here for the first time, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the ride. Let's get to it. It's been 3 weeks since I last recorded, and that's because we've had a renovation going on. I have mentioned that in my previous episodes, and I was supposed to record already last week because the reno was supposed to be ready on Tuesday, but it wasn't. And today there is no one here making any noise, except my stepdaughter is here, but she's in the other room, and I can count on her being quiet. So I hope we can make this happen today. Maybe it's a good thing that I didn't record a week ago, because now I have a whole nother body of a sweater to show you, and also little baby knits, or one little baby knit. So let's start the show. I have 3 finished objects today. Sorry, my hair is a bit damp. I had a morning sauna because that's what I love to do when I have a day off, and I haven't had that chance for a while. So I took the opportunity today and had a little sauna. So if my face is a bit red, that's because I just jumped out of the shower an hour ago, so my hair is a bit wet. You don't care about that. Anyway, the first finished object is something that I don't have here with me today. You have seen it in my previous episode, or if you haven't, go and have a look. It's the Silta shawl by Tif Neilan, and I will pop a picture here. It is a DK Aran weight shawl. I think it was for a DK yarn. I did use Aran because that's what I had and that's what I wanted to use. So if you want to know more about the yarn and whatnot, go and have a look. My last episode, I will talk more about that. It was a birthday gift for my grandmother, and I did manage to finish it before my parents went to see her. So she got her shawl and she liked it. So that was my first. Not gonna go into that anymore since I don't have it. The next finished object is something that I've been procrastinating a lot. I think it was my husband's birthday last March. So yes, it's been a while. I gave him this gift card, like a knitted item gift card, so he could choose whether he wants a pair of socks or a pair of mittens or a hat. And there was also these options of choosing a hat with a pom-pom or without, and then he could choose colors. And he chose red and blue, and not just any red and any blue, electric blue with a bright red. Oh, that's not probably the best. It is bright, isn't it? So I'm not a big fan of these colors, and especially together. But what wouldn't you do if you have to do if your loved one is asking you to do something, especially if you offer to do something and then they want something you don't want to make. So yes, emotionally this was a bit hard for me to finish, but I did. I used Sandnes Garn Baby Alpaca, and this blue is just Vilcolana Arveta held double, so merino yarn. And I don't have much to say about this. I created the pattern using the Bellish app. Unfortunately, that's not available anymore. They had to close down because they didn't have the possibility to keep it accessible, and that was their philosophy. So they didn't want to make it a paid app, and therefore they had to close down because of the costs, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a good business, so it had to go. But I managed to use this app while it was still there, and I curated this pattern. It's 104 stitches, and the star stitch pattern was something new to me. It's made with slip stitches, and you just work with one color each time. Yeah, it was kind of fun, and I like the way it looks. Although I don't like the colors, but here's the hat. It's ready. It fits, and now that I have shown it to you, my husband can start wearing it. So that's that. I will try and link all the things that I talk about under the video into the description box, and I will also link my project page. I think I'll just put one link where you can find all my projects. I don't have that many. I think there's like 30 something, so you can easily find the projects that I'm talking about if you would like to have some more information about the yarn or the needles or whatever. So I will do that, and I will link that into the description below. My third finished object is something that was very quick. I started it this week. I think it was Monday, and I finished it on Wednesday. Today is Friday, the 4th of February, and yeah, if you have seen my previous episodes, towards the end of the year, I was working on this cardigan for our stepdaughter, or my stepdaughter, my husband's daughter. I made it with using the Novita woolly wood yarn, and I had one ball left over. And this is what came out of one ball of DK weight 100-gram ball of woolly wood yarn. So this is, I think it was 70% merino and, no, 30% merino and 70% tencel, I believe. And it's from their Earth collection, so no plastic. And it's not superwash, so it's a very nice yarn to work with. And yeah, so my friends are having babies, and I wanted to knit something for them. And I found this pattern while I was browsing, I think over on Instagram. I just happened to see someone making these overalls, and these are Willum's overalls by PetiteKnit, and it's a very hard little project to show you on the camera. These are made like bottom up, so you start from the cuffs. And since I am a magic loop girl, I did 2 at a time, magic looping the legs, then you add some stitches in between, and then you join it in the round, work it in the round, and then you split from the front and back and so on. And I had to crack on the first couple of meters of that ball for the cardigan. So I had 95 grams left and I used it all. I actually even had like a little poll on Instagram whether I will win the yarn chicken, and the straps or the suspenders were supposed to be 1 centimeter longer than what I made them to be, because I was running out of yarn and I still needed to sew the crotch area together, so I just left myself a little bit of yarn to do so. I used this lovely little, I think they're wooden, no they're not wooden, they are like mock wooden buttons. They are from my stash. No, they're not wooden. They do look wooden, but they feel plasticky. Never mind. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the result. It has like this little crisscross on the back, and very pretty. I made the smallest size just because I had this yarn and the pattern called for a bit more yarn than what I had. It called for like 300 meters. I had 255 meters, but I ended up, I think my gauge is just tad tighter, but that's okay. I will give this as soon as I can this weekend, so I think the recipient will still fit into these pants. It was a nice quick knit, and I think they are super cute. I think they look even cuter on. Yeah, and that's that. Those were all my finished objects for today, and I haven't mentioned what I'm wearing. I am wearing my reed cardigan. It's actually a reed sweater by Johanna, and I have test knitted this pattern for her, I don't know, 1.5 years ago, and I made it in a sweater form like this, and I really love the pattern. I really like the way she writes things. She is a very talented and very inclusive, size inclusive designer, and she has different different sizes, like bust darts and stuff. So even a top heavy person like me, you get some very fitting garments. And this pattern is from the book Strands of Joy. I have the book there, but I don't care to get up, so take my word for it. Yeah, so what I did, because I already had made this as a sweater once, I just added 5 steek stitches and then steeked it. And this was my first ever steeked cardigan, which leads us to my Steekalong. And I am hosting this Steekalong on Instagram, so you can participate with making a steeked cardigan. I have 2 different hashtags, and you can use the Steekalong 2022 for whips, and then Steekalong 2022 FO for finished objects. And the main prize will be drawn from the FO thread, but I will also have something small for the participants on the whip hashtag. Yeah, so please join. Whips are allowed if they are 25% or less in the beginning of this year, so you can participate with whips as well. And the cal runs until the end of March, so you still have almost 2 months to participate. So if you're feeling like making a steeked cardigan, please join the fun, and I will now show you my steeked project. I did show you this on my last episode. I just had like a tiny bit of the color work in the yoke, and if I would have filmed last week, I wouldn't have anything to show you, but I have found my colorwork mojo this week, and I was very into knitting up the sweater, and this is how it looks. So this is my Maja cardigan, and where to start? The yarns are just what I had in my stash. I wanted to use something out of stash because if you have seen my stash video, you know why. And yeah, so in the summer I bought this beige yarn from a factory store here in Finland, and it was unlabeled yarn. It is most likely it's like worsted Aran weight yarn, and it is very stiff. It's not very prickly, but it's stiff. It's woolen 2-ply yarn, and it still has like spinning oils in it. It was in a huge 600-800 gram cone, and it was wound up in like with like two strands. So I have just wound up a little ball. It comes 2 strands held together, which is annoying because I'm not knitting on it 2 strands held together. So what I did, I decided to dye up some yarn. I have been doing some little experiments, and if you've been here before, you may have seen some of my dyed up yarn. And so I did dye up the red, or the burgundy one. I think, I don't know, over here, maybe it's the right color. It's a slightly variegated, or not even variegated, like a tonal red, and it's dyed up from this beige yarn. The white and the black are sock yarn by from Novita. So Novita 7 veljestä, 7 brothers yarn. It's a sock yarn, 75% wool and 25% polyamide, and those I had at home. So that's why the color scheme is like this, because I just wanted to use up something that I have. And it has actually it has amazed me that I posted a picture of a blocked yoke of this Maja cardigan. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen it, and it has gotten like the most likes ever. Like, it's my first post to reach 1,000 likes, which is amazing. And to me, these colors are quite bland, because I'm usually into more like rusts and greens and mustard yellows and all that, golds. So this is way more subtle than my pieces are usually, and that's why I'm like, I have been so amazed that people have liked it so much. So yeah, I was dropping some stitches, sorry. So anyway, I'm actually really happy how it's turning out. I was a bit worried if I have enough yarn, but it seems like that I do. I started the color work for the body yesterday. I actually made most of the body yesterday, and it's looking like this. I started with a size large because I wanted to fit over my bust. I was kind of a little bit indecisive whether I should do the medium or the large, because the medium wouldn't have like any ease, and I needed some ease, of course, because if it's a cardigan, I needed to button, like I needed to close properly without like the buttons too stretched. So I started with the size large, and when I tried it on, I was kind of like hesitant about the size. It's kind of loose around the yoke. So what I did, I ended up dropping or decreasing uh, for the body a little bit, so that I decreased 16 stitches, so that I got into the size medium. So it's size large on the top, and then I did decrease towards the waist, and the lower part of the body is now knit with the size medium instructions. So I think this looks now good on me, and I think the fit is proper for my body size, because my top half is bigger than my lower half, so I don't want like a too big of a sweater or a cardigan, because then it wouldn't look so good on me. But yeah, I have to say, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were talking about like the yarn prices, and like you know, it's so, it's kind of a difficult subject, but not everyone can afford, you know, all the hand-dyed beauties and all the fancy wool. I'm a bit of both. I do like a nice hand-dyed yarn. I do like buying more woolly wools, and also hand-dyed woolly wools, and so they are a bit more expensive, or sometimes even quite expensive. But I do love a good bargain. I do love to use like supermarket yarns if the quality is nice for me to work with. So I'm not saying that I love all the supermarket yarns. I definitely don't, but I think there are good yarns in each price points, and I'm happy to use whatever. So I have to say, I found this cone in a sale container, or it was this big square of yarn that they were getting rid of very cheaply. So I only paid €2 for the whole 800 grams of this beige yarn, and the only problem is that it has cost me a lot of extra work, because I've had to. So this is now just rolled out of the cone, but then I have to divide them into two little nuggets of yarn. So it does make me work a bit harder for my yarn. But this ball is from a craft. I think it's like this, where you like it's not a second hand. Well, it is second hand, but it's kind of this craft fair where you you bring your unused craft materials, and then other people bring theirs, and then you buy off from each other these yarns, these materials. And I paid €2 for this 150 gram ball, and this white is some leftovers from my socks. So I think the whole total cost of this cardigan will be €5, or somewhere on the €5 mark. So I think it's kind of fabulous that you can still create something beautiful using cheap yarn. And I don't think it's very sustainable to use yarns that don't take any wear. If they don't last when you wear them, then of course it's a waste of money. Even though it's cheap yarn, you invest a lot of hours into it. But I think you can find good materials with cheaper price points, and I'm not here to judge anyone of using like hand-dyed yarns, because I do love them myself. But I'm a mix of all the ends. So I do love a good hand-dyed yarn. I do like to use some bargain yarns, and I do buy some supermarket yarns as well. So that was a little tantrum of of yarn price points. But I'm just, what I wanted to say, that it doesn't make you a bad crafter if you use cheaper materials, and it doesn't make you a better one if you're only using good quality yarns. Everyone works with the price point that they can afford and they are comfortable with, and that makes this craft very special, that we can all choose and still enjoy the beautiful thing of knitting and crocheting. And that's that. So this was my Maja cardigan. I'm sorry if you didn't want to hear that. I don't know. I hope it didn't come out wrong. But yeah, it's just something that I have been thinking about, that the social media is sometimes it's kind of a two-bladed sword sort of thing, because you see all the beautiful things, and I don't want anyone to feel less of a knitter if they're using more affordable yarns, and also I don't want anyone to feel bad about using the expensive ones, because there's plenty of space in between, and everyone can work with whatever they feel comfortable with. Whew. One more whip that I wanted to show you, and then I will move into acquisitions and a little bit about my knitting plans. But as the title stated, I do have my love note here with me today. I have shown this yarn in some of my episodes. I have no idea which one. Maybe, at least it was in my stash video, but I don't know if it was in any else of my videos. Sorry, I will just adjust it a little bit. Here it is. So this is basically what I did in 4 days. 1.5 weeks ago, I suddenly got the urge to cast on this love note. I have been talking about this before, and I originally wanted to participate on the cal of Rebecca from the Creia Bea podcast and Lisa from And So On. They had this knitting first cal, and I unfortunately didn't have the time to finish this project on time, but I did manage to do quite a lot. This is made with 2 strands held together, as the love note is suggested to do. I'm using the Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk in colorway 25. This is sort of smoky blue, and then I have the Bio Shetland BZ Garn Bio Shetland, and the color is 19, and it was named as Denim Blue in the yarn store that I bought it from. So the Bio Shetland is a light fingering weight yarn, so this is a little bit I didn't really get the gauge. I think I'm 1 stitch off, but that's okay. I am making the size medium, and I didn't want that much ease, because as I stated already before, I'm a bit busty, but then my lower half is not as big, so I don't tend to make a hell of a lot of ease because it just doesn't look really good. I look like a marshmallow if I'm having too much fabric on the middle part of me. So yeah, I have been really enjoying this. It was a fast knitting, or this is a fast lace work, because it's pretty easy, and it's, you know, it's not a lot. It's like this much of lace. And this time I did use the original, or the instructions in the pattern where you make the provisional cast on. I have done a love note before, and then I didn't do that, but because I never had done that before, I really wanted to try, and it worked out well. But I had to finish the neckline because I wanted to try it on, and I feel like if you haven't finished the neckline, it doesn't really sit right. You know, I really needed the ribbing to be there so that I can see how the fit is. And so after I split for the sleeves, I did return and make the neckband, and yeah, it's coming along pretty nicely. And I don't know, if you know me, I might finish, I might not. I have been now on sick leave for my hand for 3 weeks, and I still have another 2 weeks to go. So that's why I've been knitting quite a lot. But yeah, I've been feeling like making these 2 sweaters now. I do have a lot of different projects, but or whips, but I haven't really touched them. So that's why I'm not bringing them out today. This was all what I had to share knit-wise today. I do have some acquisitions, and then I will talk about a little bit about the life stuff. But yeah, so that was all the knitting content that I had for you today. So yeah, you have probably seen the hype about the single malt sweater by Maxim here, Max the Knitter. And when the pattern was released, I was like, I need to make this for my husband. And when Max had his birthday on Christmas Eve, I think it was Christmas Eve, I did purchase the pattern for the single malt. My husband requested a color of a whiskey, and he gave me this color chart, and then he outlined the colors from the darker end that he really wanted the sweater to be. So he wanted the single malt sweater to be whiskey color, and this is what I found. It might look a bit more orange on the screen. This is quite accurate, I think. It's this rusty. It's actually botanically dyed yarn. So it's a 2-ply Finship wool, and it's this lovely little tonal. It's a bit thinner than what the pattern calls for, but I did swatch, which is very unusual for me. But I did swatch, and actually I got the gauge with the recommended needle, and I do like the fabric. It's nice and airy. It's not too see-through, and I did try to make the pattern as well. So I did some stockinette. This is the biggest swatch you get from me. I'm not very good at making swatches, but I did want to make a swatch for this because the yarn is a bit thinner than what's suggested, so I needed to check my gauge. And it worked out really, really well. I really love how light this kind of wool is. It blooms a lot when you wash it, so it fills up the gaps and it feels light, but I know it's gonna be warm, but it's not gonna be too warm to wear indoors. So I think this will be a perfect project. I have no idea when I have time to start, but I had been browsing around. I already nearly bought the Peruvian Highland wool from Filcolana. They had this rusty orangey color, but it wasn't just quite right. So when this one Finnish online store that is specialized in Finnish wools had a shop update with these yarns, I immediately knew that this is now the yarn. It was rather expensive, but I did have a discount code because I did test knit for her before Christmas. So I had 10% off and I used it for this sweater. I think it's so nice color, and I think I did buy 5 skeins, but it might be too much. I'm hoping, or I think I might have a bit left over, and this is so my color, so I'm sure I will find a project for the leftovers too. And those are the only things that I have purchased. My sister did give me a birthday gift, and she gave me a couple of balls. I have them here on the floor with me. She gave me a couple of balls of this green. It's very, very pretty green, and this orange, but I have no idea what I would do with them. I might make a hat for myself using this green because it's so cute. But I will I will figure it out later on. But those I got from my sister. And that's that. That's everything that I had to say. I will move into the live chat briefly. And if you are not here for that, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you enjoyed watching me, spending some time with me, and I'll hope to see you next time. Yeah, as many of you know, I already mentioned, I'm still at home with my hand, and it's been kind of tough with the reno. Everyone who has lived with the renovation knows what it is. It's not all peachy and roses. It's kind of rough. The noises are driving me nuts, and like I briefly mentioned before, the reno was supposed to be finished last week on my birthday, and it wasn't, and there was some hiccups, and then there was something very annoying. I actually, this was my request that we make this soap shelf, or it's actually like a whole wall. So the wall comes out like 10 centimeters so that you can hold, you can put all the shampoos and all that onto the wall, and you don't have to have this plasticky tray thingy or anything hanging where you can put your soaps and all that. And that was a little bit of an investment to add on to the project, and I was happy to pay for that, but it wasn't the way it was supposed to be. It was like a slope, and the bottles couldn't, they didn't stay on. And I was really, really, really upset about it because I've been home all day long with the reno guys. I had mentioned to him while he was building it that that's not looking like what I wanted, and that's not looking like it's going to hold the bottles, and he was like, yeah, they stay there, whatever. And when he finished, and it wasn't what I wanted, I wanted to cry. I literally wanted to cry. I was so stressed that, you know, you put all this money into something and it's not what you want. So of course it upsets you, and it's because it's been so hard, like hearing all the noises and tiptoeing around the house with all the mess, and it's been so hard. And then the end result is not what you want. Otherwise it looks so good, and then this one thing that is just so annoying. Also our walls cracked because of the demolition on the sauna and the shower. So they had to repair the walls, and the guy, I don't know if he was pissed at me because I was being here and being annoying, but he didn't do a good job. He was like rushing through things, and then we had to wait for 2 days, or not 2 days, but 2 nights, and I wasn't sleeping because I was so worried. I was so stressed that it's not the way we wanted it to be, and the painting and the walls weren't good. We had to empty a whole floor to ceiling, a whole wall, 180 centimeter bookshelf, and all the stuff is now in our daughter's room. And well, the foreman came, and I was so stressed about meeting with him because I wasn't happy. But luckily he was so nice. He was like, yes, this is not what we agreed on. Of course we're gonna fix it, but it's going to be next week. And now it's next week, and it's still not done. Today is Friday. The Reno guy was here. Now it was a different guy. Now it was the guy that had to fix all the mess. He fixed the wall, but he needs to put the plaster and all the finishing touches on Monday because it needed to dry. And the walls need to be painted. He fixed the walls, but now he needed to wait it to dry. And we still have our bookshelf empty and all the stuff laying around everywhere. And sorry about the rant, but it's been hard. But I found that I have so many great friends over there, and you know who I'm talking about. You've given me so much support, and that means a lot. So it's good to know you're not alone with all these things. But on the higher note, I will put now the videos to these the videos about this Reno. I'm not gonna talk about this ever again, but I took a video when it was finished, even though it's not perfect, but it looks nice, and I want you to admire our new shower and sauna. I will put now the video before and the video after, and I hope that you enjoy seeing the change. I am really happy now. Yesterday when the guy was here fixing everything, and now the shelf, it's now the shelf is the way it's supposed to be. It's going to be great, and I'm going to love it, and I love my new green wall. So after Monday, I think all of this comes to an end, and we can finally start putting our things back together, and this 2-month-long renovation is finally over, and we can start moving on with our lives and enjoy our new bathroom. And that's that. If you want to see my hand, here it is. it's nearly done healing. The skin looks very good. It's a bit swollen still, but next week it will be 4 weeks since the surgery, so I can start lifting stuff more than a kilo. That weighs more than a kilo, so I can start going back to normal life again. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, happy knitting. Bye.